First contact. The vast emptiness of space shimmered as the UES Prometheus, Earth's most advanced exploration vessel, emerged from its quantum jump. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge, her dark eyes scanning the unfamiliar star system before her. This was humanity's first venture beyond their solar system, a momentous occasion that held both promise and peril. Status report, Reyes commanded, her voice steady despite the excitement coursing through her veins. Lieutenant Commander Akira Tanaka's fingers danced across his console. All systems nominal, Captain. We've successfully arrived at the coordinates of the anomalous signal. For months, Earth's deep space arrays had detected an unusual pattern emanating from this region of space. It was too regular to be natural, too complex to be random noise. It could only mean one thing: intelligent life. As the Prometheus cruised deeper into the system, tension mounted on the bridge. They passed a gas giant with swirling storms, then a rocky world with a thin atmosphere. And then they saw it. "My God," whispered Dr. Marcus Chen, the mission's lead xenobiologist. It's a ship." Hanging in space before them was an enormous vessel, easily 10 times the size of the Prometheus. Its hull was a dark, mottled purple, covered in what looked like organic growths. It was utterly alien and utterly beautiful. "Open a channel," Reyes ordered. "All frequencies, all languages. Let's say hello." For hours, they broadcast their carefully crafted message of peace and friendship. Mathematical sequences, chemical formulas, images of Earth and its people, a cosmic hello designed to transcend the barriers of language and culture. The response, when it came, was not what anyone had expected. A beam of sickly green energy lanced out from the alien ship, barely missing the Prometheus. Alarms blared across the bridge as the crew scrambled to battle stations. "Evasive maneuvers," Reyes shouted, "shields up." The Prometheus rolled and dove, narrowly avoiding another blast. Reyes gripped her chair, her mind racing. This wasn't how first contact was supposed to go. They came in peace, bearing gifts of knowledge and friendship. Why were they being attacked? "Captain, we're being hailed," Tanaka reported, his voice tight with tension. A holographic screen flickered to life in the center of the bridge. The creature that appeared was nightmarish. A mass of writhing tentacles surrounding a bulbous head with multiple eyes. When it spoke, its voice was a grating screech that made the humans wince. "Pitiful creatures," the alien rasped, its words somehow translated by the ship's AI. "You dare to enter Zarkaf space. Your audacity will be your doom." Reyes stood, her chin held high. "We come in peace." "We meant no offense." "Peace," the Zarkaf interrupted with a sound that might have been laughter. "There is no peace with lesser beings. You will serve or be destroyed." The transmission cut off abruptly. Reyes turned to her crew, seeing fear and determination in equal measure on their faces. "Options?" she asked. Dr. Chen spoke up. "Captain, their technology is far beyond ours. We can't hope to win in a fight." "Then we don't fight," Reyes decided. "We run. Mr. Tanaka, plot a course back to Earth. Maximum speed." As the Prometheus turned to flee, the Zarkaf ship launched a barrage of energy weapons. The human vessel shuddered under the assault, its shields straining to the breaking point. "Shields at 30% and falling," reported the tactical officer. "We can't take much more of this." Reyes watched the countdown to the quantum jump. 10 seconds. 9, 8. The ship rocked with another hit. Shields failing. 3, 2, 1. Just as the Zarkaf prepared to deliver the killing blow, the Prometheus vanished in a flash of quantum energy. They were safe for now. As the familiar sight of Earth's solar system appeared on the view screen, Reyes allowed herself a moment of relief. But it was short-lived. They had escaped, but at what cost? They had made first contact, only to find a hostile species that saw humanity as nothing more than prey. "Send a priority message to Earth Command," Reyes ordered. "We have a lot of work to do." As the Prometheus limped home, the crew knew that everything had changed. Humanity was not alone in the universe, but their new neighbors were far from friendly. The age of innocence was over. The age of preparation had begun. For Captain Elena Reyes and her crew, this was just the beginning. They had looked into the face of an interstellar threat and lived to tell the tale. Now they had to ensure that humanity would be ready for what was coming. The Zarkaf had made a grave mistake. They had underestimated humanity's resolve, their ingenuity, their capacity for rapid advancement when faced with a threat. In their arrogance, they had awoken a sleeping giant. As Earth came into view, Reyes made a silent vow. The Zarkaf thought humans were weak, easy prey. They would soon learn how wrong they were. Humanity would not go quietly into the night. They would fight, they would adapt, and they would show the galaxy what happens when you corner a species that had clawed its way to sentience on a world that tried to kill them at every turn. The battle for Earth's future had begun, and Captain Elena Reyes intended to win it. Technological leap. The years following humanity's first contact with the Zarkaf were marked by a frenzy of activity unlike anything Earth had ever seen. The looming threat of alien invasion galvanized the planet's nations into unprecedented cooperation. Old rivalries were set aside, resources pooled, and the brightest minds from every corner of the globe were brought together with a single purpose: to prepare humanity for war. Dr. Samantha Patel stood in the center of the Global Defense Initiative's main laboratory, surrounded by holographic displays and bustling scientists. At 32, she was already considered the foremost expert in xenotechnology, tasked with reverse engineering the scant data collected from the Prometheus's encounter. "The quantum shield modulation is almost complete," she announced to her team. "If our calculations are correct, it should be able to withstand Zarkaf energy weapons for 300% longer than our previous designs." Her assistant, John Wei, looked up from his workstation. "That's incredible, Dr. Patel, but will it be enough?" Samantha's face hardened. "It has to be Wei. We don't have the luxury of time." Across the planet, similar scenes played out. In orbit, massive space stations were being constructed, serving as shipyards for Earth's growing fleet. The moon had been transformed into a fortress, bristling with defense systems and early warning arrays. Mars, once the dream destination for colonization, had become a military outpost and testing ground for new technologies. Admiral James Hawthorne, the grizzled veteran who now led Earth's combined space forces, stood on the bridge of the EDF Defiant, humanity's first true battleship. At 2 kilometers long, it dwarfed the Prometheus and incorporated every technological advancement they had made in the past 5 years. "Status report," he barked, eyeing the swarm of construction drones outside the view screen. Lieutenant Commander Maria Rodriguez, his XO, stepped forward. "The Defiant systems are at 95% operational capacity, sir. Weapons, shields, and the new FTL drive are all green. We're just waiting on final calibrations for the AI core." Hawthorne nodded, a grim smile on his face. "Good. The Zarkaf won't know what hit them." Back on Earth, in a heavily guarded facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Alan Chen pored over streams of data. As the lead researcher for Project Prometheus, he was responsible for humanity's most closely guarded secret. "Dr. Chen," a soft voice called. He looked up to see Dr. Emily Nakamura, his colleague and partner in more ways than one. "I think we've done it." Chen's eyes widened as he reviewed the data. "Are you sure? This changes everything." Nakamura nodded, her eyes shining with excitement and trepidation. "We've cracked their communication protocols. We can understand the Zarkaf language in real time." For a moment, Chen allowed himself to feel the weight of this breakthrough. With this, they could intercept Zarkaf transmissions, maybe even interfere with their ship-to-ship communications during battle. But as he read further, his blood ran cold. "Emily," he whispered, "look at this. It's not just language. We're picking up their thoughts." The implications were staggering. Somehow, The Zarkaf communicated on a level that bordered on telepathy, their language intertwined with their very consciousness. And now humans could tap into it. As this discovery rippled through the upper echelons of the Global Defense Initiative, strategies were revised and new possibilities emerged. Humanity was not just preparing for a war of ships and weapons, but one of minds. In a secret facility in Siberia, Major Yuri Volkov oversaw the training of the first wave of psychic soldiers. Men and women with latent telepathic abilities, once dismissed as pseudoscience, were now Earth's secret weapon. Again, Volkov commanded, watching as a young recruit strained to influence the thoughts of a test subject. Slowly, surely, the subject's brain patterns began to align with the telepath's suggestions. Volkov allowed himself a small smile. The Zarkaf thought humans were primitive, easy prey. They had no idea what was coming. As Earth's defenses grew stronger and its weapons more advanced, the question on everyone's mind was not if the Zarkaf would return, but when. The waiting was perhaps the hardest part. Captain Elena Reyes, now Admiral Reyes, stood before the United Earth Council, delivering her latest report. Our long-range sensors have detected increased Zarkaf activity near the edge of our solar system, she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of her words. We believe they are preparing for a large-scale invasion. The council chamber erupted in murmurs of concern. Reyes raised her hand for silence. But we are ready, she continued. In the 5 years since first contact, we have advanced our technology by centuries. We have united as a species in a way never before seen in human history. The Zarkaf believe they are coming to conquer a primitive world. Instead, they will face a humanity they could never have imagined. As the council debated and planned, Reyes' mind wandered to the fleet waiting in orbit, ships bristling with weapons that would have been science fiction mere years ago. Crews trained to perfection, ready to defend their home at any cost. In labs and factories around the world, production continued at a feverish pace. New advancements were made daily, each one bringing humanity closer to technological parity with their alien foes. Dr. Patel put the finishing touches on a handheld device that could disrupt Zarkaf energy fields. Dr. Chen and Dr. Nakamura refined their psychic interface, preparing to turn the Zarkaf's greatest strength into a vulnerability. And in orbit, Admiral Hawthorne drilled his fleet, honing them into a fighting force unlike any the galaxy had seen. As the sun set on another day of frenetic preparation, a sense of anticipation hung in the air. Humanity had been pushed to the brink, forced to evolve at an unprecedented rate. They had taken the threat of extinction and turned it into the greatest period of advancement in their history. The Zarkaf were coming, yes, but they would find a humanity transformed, a humanity united, a humanity ready to fight for its place among the stars. As night fell, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. Somewhere out there, the Zarkaf were coming. But Earth was ready. The sleeping giant had awakened, and it was angry. The stage was set. The pieces were in place. All that remained was for the Zarkaf to make their move, and when they did, they would learn the true meaning of human fury, the battle for Earth. The day humanity had been preparing for finally arrived with little warning. Alarms blared across every continent as the Zarkaf armada emerged from quantum space at the edge of the solar system. The alien fleet was vast, thousands of ships strong, their purple hulls gleaming ominously in the starlight. Admiral Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the EDF Defiant, her face a mask of determination. All ships, battle stations, this is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Across Earth's orbital defense grid, men and women rushed to their posts. On the lunar base, massive ion cannons swiveled into position. From Mars, stealth fighters launched in swarms, their adaptive camouflage rendering them nearly invisible against the backdrop of space. The Zarkaf advance was relentless. Their ships moved in perfect formation, a testament to their hive-mind coordination. As they approached Earth's outer defenses, they broadcast a message on all frequencies. Humans, the alien voice grated, Your time has come. Surrender now, and we may allow some of you to live as our slaves. Resist and face total annihilation. Admiral Reyes' response was swift and unmistakable. Earth fleet, engage at will. Show these bastards what happens when you threaten humanity. The battle erupted in a dazzling display of advanced weaponry. Human ships darted between the lumbering Zarkaf cruisers, their new quantum-tipped torpedoes punching through alien shields with ease. The Zarkaf responded with walls of energy fire, their tentacled gunners working in perfect synchronization. On the Defiance bridge, Tactical Officer Lieutenant Sarah Chen called out, "Admiral, the Zarkaf are adapting to our shield frequencies." Reyes nodded grimly. They had expected this. Initiate Protocol Omega. Let's see how they handle a taste of their own medicine. Across the human fleet, a new system came online. Based on Dr. Chen and Dr. Nakamura's breakthrough, it began broadcasting directly into the Zarkaf hive mind. Confusion rippled through the alien ranks as conflicting orders and false information flooded their neural network. In the chaos, Earth's defenders pressed their advantage. The lunar ion cannons fired, their beams slicing through Zarkaf capital ships. From the Martian outposts, swarms of AI-driven drones emerged, sacrificing themselves in kamikaze runs against the alien fleet's weak points. But the Zarkaf were far from defeated. As their front lines crumbled, they unveiled their secret weapon. A massive ship, easily the size of a small moon, emerged from the heart of their fleet. Its surface writhed with organic tendrils, and at its center pulsed a sickly green light. "By all that's holy," whispered Commander Rodriguez, "what is that thing?" Before anyone could respond, the monstrosity fired. A beam of concentrated energy lanced out, carving through Earth's defenses like they were made of paper. Dozens of human ships vanished in an instant, and even a Defiant shuddered under the assault. Shields down to 30%, Chen shouted over the blare of alarms. "We can't take another hit like that." Reyes' mind raced. They had planned for many contingencies, but nothing like this. As she watched the behemoth charge for another attack, a desperate plan formed. "All ships, fall back to secondary positions," she ordered. Then, to her bridge crew, "Prepare for quantum jump. We're going in." Rodriguez looked at her in shock. "Admiral, you can't be serious. At this range, a jump could tear us apart." Reyes met her XO's gaze steadily. "Better to die fighting than watch our world burn. Helms, set course for the heart of that monstrosity. We end this now." As the rest of Earth's fleet retreated, drawing the bulk of the Zarkaf forces with them, the Defiant stood its ground. The alien superweapon turned its baleful gaze upon them, energy building for a killing blow. Jump in 3, 2, 1. The world twisted, reality itself seeming to scream in protest as the Defiant executed a point-blank quantum jump. They rematerialized inside the Zarkaf ship, their hull grinding against alien corridors never meant to accommodate them. "All weapons, fire at will," Reyes shouted. "Overload the reactor if you have to. We're taking this abomination down with us." The Defiant's guns roared to life, pouring fire into the very heart of the alien vessel. Zarkaf warriors swarmed towards them, only to be cut down by marine defenders and automated turrets. Deep in the bowels of the ship, a team led by Dr. Samantha Patel worked feverishly. They had one shot at this, one chance to turn the tide. "Device is armed," Patel reported over the comm. 30 seconds to detonation. Reyes nodded grimly. "All hands, prepare for emergency quantum jump. We've got one chance to get out of here." As the seconds ticked down, the Defiant disengaged, its hull screaming in protest as it tore free of the alien ship. Just as the Zarkaf weapon prepared to fire again, Patel's device activated. A miniature black hole blossomed in the heart of the alien vessel, its gravitational pull tearing the massive ship apart from the inside. The Defiant jumped away, just as the explosion lit up space brighter than a supernova. When the light faded, the Zarkaf superweapon was gone. In its place was a slowly dissipating cloud of debris and a shockwave that scattered the remaining alien ships. On Earth and across the solar system, cheers erupted as they witnessed the explosion. The Zarkath, their greatest weapon destroyed and their hive mind in chaos, began a disorganized retreat. Admiral Reyes stood on her battered bridge, watching as the alien fleet fled. They had won, but at a terrible cost. The space around Earth was littered with the wreckage of both human and Zarkath ships. It would take years to rebuild. But as she looked at the determined faces of her crew, Reyes felt a surge of pride. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. They had proven themselves not just to the Zarkath, but to the galaxy at large. As the last alien ships disappeared into quantum space, Reyes opened a channel to Earth. "This is Admiral Reyes to all forces. The enemy is in retreat. I repeat, the enemy is in retreat. Well done, everyone. Well done." The battle was over, but the war was far from finished. As cleanup efforts began and the wounded were tended to, plans were already being made. Humanity would not wait for the next attack. It was time to take the fight to the enemy. The battle for Earth was won. Now, the battle for the stars would begin. Counterattack. The victory over Earth had come at a steep price, but humanity wasted no time in capitalizing on their momentum. In the months following the Zarkath retreat, Earth's shipyards worked around the clock, churning out vessels equipped with the latest advancements gleaned from the battle. The time for defense was over. Now, humanity would take the fight to the enemy. Admiral Elena Reyes stood before the United Earth Council, her uniform crisp despite the wariness in her eyes. "Operation Spearhead is ready to commence," she announced. "Our fleet is assembled and awaiting your final approval." The council chamber was silent for a moment before the Secretary General spoke. "You understand the risks, Admiral. This will be the first time humanity has launched an offensive beyond our solar system." Reyes nodded solemnly. "I do, Madam Secretary. But the alternative is to wait for the Zarkath to regroup and attack again. We must strike now, while they're still reeling from their defeat." After a brief deliberation, the Council gave their unanimous approval. Operation Spearhead was a go. The next day, humanity's first interstellar assault fleet assembled in high Earth orbit. At its heart was the newly christened EDF Vengeance, a ship twice the size of the Defiant and bristling with weapons that would have been unthinkable just a year ago. Dr. Samantha Potel stood on the bridge beside Admiral Reyes, marveling at the holographic display of the assembled fleet. "It's hard to believe how far we've come," she murmured. Reyes allowed herself a small smile. "And we're just getting started, Doctor. Your breakthroughs in quantum technology are what's making this possible." As final preparations were made, a hush fell over the fleet. This was the moment that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. "All ships, prepare for quantum jump," Reyes ordered. "Our target is the Zarkath colony world of Nexthor. Let's show them what happens when you push humanity too far." In a brilliant flash of light, the fleet vanished from Earth's sky, reappearing moments later in a distant star system. The purple-hued world of Nexthor loomed before them, its orbital defenses already coming to life. "They weren't expecting us," Commander Rodriguez reported with grim satisfaction. "Their fleet is scrambling, but they're in disarray." Reyes nodded. "Press the advantage. All ships, engage at will. Remember your training and watch each other's backs." The battle erupted with a ferocity that would have been unimaginable during their first encounter with the Zarkath. Human ships darted and weaved through the alien defenses, their improved drives and weapons giving them an edge they'd never had before. On the planet's surface, Major Yuri Volkov led a team of psychic commandos on a daring infiltration mission. Their target, the central hive mind node controlling Nexthor's defenses. "Stay focused," Volkov growled as they moved through alien corridors, their minds working in concert to remain undetected. "Remember, we're not just fighting with our weapons, but with our thoughts." As they reached the central chamber, they encountered heavy resistance. Zarkaf warriors swarmed towards them, their tentacles writhing in fury. But the human commandos were ready. Concentrating their psychic abilities, they projected a wave of confusion and terror into the alien minds. The Zarkaf faltered, their normally perfect coordination disrupted by the mental assault. "Now," Volkov shouted, leading the charge into the heart of the enemy stronghold. Back in space, the battle raged on. The Vengeance unleashed its main weapon, a gravitic cannon that warped spacetime itself. Zarkaf ships crumpled like tin cans under its onslaught. But the aliens were far from defeated. A massive Zarkaf dreadnought emerged from the planet's dark side, its organic hull pulsing with energy. Evasive maneuvers. Reyes ordered as the dreadnought fired, its beam cutting through space dangerously close to the Vengeance. Dr. Patel rushed to a console. "Admiral, I have an idea. If we can get close enough, I might be able to disrupt their biomechanical systems with a targeted EMP burst." Reyes considered for a split second before nodding. "Do it. Helm, take us in. All other ships provide covering fire." The Vengeance plunged towards the Zarkaf dreadnought, weaving through a storm of enemy fire. At point-blank range, Patel activated her device. A pulse of electromagnetic energy washed over the alien ship. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like a puppet with its strings cut, the massive vessel went dark. "Direct hit," Rodriguez cheered. "Their systems are offline." Reyes allowed herself a moment of satisfaction before turning her attention back to the battle. "All ships, concentrate fire on that dreadnought. Let's finish this." As the human fleet tore into the defenseless Zarkaf flagship, Volkov's team completed their mission on the surface. The planetary defenses flickered and died as they severed the hive mind's connection. "Ground team to Vengeance," Volkov reported, his voice tight with exhaustion but triumphant. "Mission accomplished. The planet is ours." A cheer went up across the human fleet. They had done it. They had not only survived an alien onslaught, but had taken the fight to the enemy and won. As the dust settled and damage reports came in, Reyes addressed her fleet. "This is only the beginning," she said, her voice carrying to every ship and ground team. "We've shown the Zarkaf and the galaxy that humanity is not to be trifled with. But our job isn't done. We'll secure this world, gather what intelligence we can, and prepare for the next phase." The capture of Nexthor sent shockwaves through Zarkaf space. For the first time in their history, they faced an enemy that not only resisted them, but could strike at the heart of their territory. As human forces secured the planet and scientists pored over captured Zarkaf technology, a new chapter in the war began. Humanity was no longer fighting for mere survival. They were fighting for their place among the stars. The message to the Zarkaf and any other hostile species was clear: underestimate humanity at your own peril. The sleeping giant had not only awakened, but was now on the march, uncovering secrets. As humanity consolidated its hold on Nexthor, a team of scientists led by Dr. Samantha Patel and Dr. Alan Chen worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets of Zarkaf technology. The captured planet had become a treasure trove of alien knowledge, offering insights that could revolutionize human understanding of the universe. In a makeshift lab constructed from the ruins of a Zarkaf research facility, Patel hunched over a peculiar device. Its surface rippled like liquid metal, responding to her touch with faint pulses of bioluminescence. "Alan, come look at this," she called out, excitement evident in her voice. "I think we stumbled onto something big." Chen hurried over, his eyes widening as he observed the device's behavior. Is it reacting to your thoughts?" Patel nodded, her face a mix of wonder and concern. "It's more than that. I think this might be the key to understanding the Zarkaf hive mind. But there's something else. Something doesn't feel right." As they delved deeper into the alien technology, a disturbing pattern began to emerge. The Zarkaf, for all their apparent aggression and technological superiority, showed signs of being driven by fear. a deep-seated terror of something lurking in the dark corners of the galaxy. Meanwhile, aboard the EDF Vengeance, Admiral Reyes pored over intelligence reports from across former Zarkath space. The alien empire was vast, but fracturing in the wake of humanity's counterattack. "Commander Rodriguez," Reyes called out, "what's the status on the Zarkath home world?" Rodriguez approached with a holographic display. "Still heavily fortified, Admiral, but we're picking up strange energy readings. It's like they're preparing for something big, and I don't think it's us." Reyes frowned, a nagging suspicion growing in the back of her mind. "Contact Dr. Patel on Nexthor. I want to know if she's found anything that might explain this." Back on Nexthor, Patel and Chen had made a breakthrough. Using the psychic interface device, they had managed to tap into residual Zarkath communications. What they found chilled them to the bone. "Admiral," Patel's voice crackled over the comm, her usual composure shaken. "We've uncovered something troubling. The Zarkath, they're not the real enemy. They're running from something ancient and terrifying." Reyes felt a cold knot form in her stomach. "Explain, Doctor." "We've decoded fragments of their historical records," Chen chimed in. "The Zarkath Empire wasn't built on conquest, at least not originally. It was a defensive measure against an entity they call the Void. We don't have all the details, but from what we can gather, it's some kind of cosmic horror that consumes entire civilizations." The implications were staggering. Humanity had been fighting what they thought was an invading force, only to discover they might have stumbled into a war for the very survival of the galaxy. "That's not all," Patel continued, her voice grim. "The energy readings you've detected around the Zarkath homeworld. We think they're preparing for the Void's arrival. They're using their conquered worlds, including Earth, as a buffer to buy them time." Reyes closed her eyes, processing the information. When she opened them, there was a steely determination in her gaze. "Dr. Patel, I need you and your team back on the Vengeance immediately. We're going to the Zarkath homeworld." As preparations for the mission began, word of the discovery spread through the human fleet. The mood shifted from one of victory to a tense anticipation. They had won battles, but now faced a war beyond their imagination. Major Volkov and his psychic commandos intensified their training, pushing the limits of their abilities. If they were to face a threat that terrified even the Zarkath, they would need every advantage. Dr. Chen worked with the engineering teams, adapting Zarkath technology to human ships. Hybrid weapons and shields were hastily installed, untested but potentially game-changing. As the Vengeance and its escort fleet prepared to jump to the heart of Zarkath space, Admiral Reyes addressed her crew. "We set out to defend our home," she began, her voice carrying to every corner of the ship. "We thought we were fighting for humanity's survival against an alien threat, but we've uncovered a truth far more terrifying. We're not just fighting for Earth now, or even humanity. We're fighting for the very existence of life in our galaxy." She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. "The Zarkath are not our true enemy. They are victims, just like us, of a horror beyond our comprehension. But where they chose to run and hide, sacrificing other worlds to save themselves, we will stand and fight. Because that's what humans do. We face the impossible, and we overcome it." A cheer went up from the crew, a sound of defiance in the face of cosmic terror. As the fleet prepared for the quantum jump, Reyes turned to her bridge crew. "Whatever we face on the other side, remember this. We carry with us the hopes not just of Earth, but of every life-bearing world in this galaxy. We may have started this journey seeking vengeance, but we will end it as saviors." With a brilliant flash, the human fleet vanished from Nexthor's skies, hurtling towards a confrontation that would determine the fate of the galaxy. They were no longer just warriors or explorers. They had become the last line of defense against a threat older than civilization itself. As they emerged from quantum space near the Zarkath homeworld, the sight that greeted them defied description. The planet was encased in a shimmering energy field, and surrounding it was the largest assemblage of ships any human had ever seen. But it wasn't the Zarkov fleet that drew their attention. Beyond the planet, space itself seemed to warp and twist, as if reality was being torn apart. And from that impossible rift, something was emerging. Something vast, ancient, and hungry. The void had arrived, and humanity found itself on the front lines of a war for existence itself.